Hey everyone, welcome back to the IO Panel Podcast. My name's Evan. I'll be your host this week for episode 226. Joining us as always, co-hosts Mike and James.
Hey.
How are you guys doing?
Hello,
Hey,
hello.
on?
hey. Not a lot, man. Good to be here. Trying out somewhat of a new system.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Mike, tell us all
something
about
called OBS or Open Broadcast Studio.
Is that what that stands for?
I thought it was Open Broadcaster System, but I don't remember ever checking
boy.
officially. I could have made that up in my head.
I think Evan's right because it's called on my system OBS Studio. So would it be OBS Open Broadcast Studio?
ATM machine.
Studio.
Open Broadcaster
Is that how that
Software.
song goes?
We're all wrong.
Oh,
We're all wrong. We're all 30% wrong.
there were.
We got the
absolutely
first
more.
two.
Broadcaster
Yeah.
Software. Okay.
Now, James, can you tell me on any other historical occasion when two S's back to back have caused any problems?
No, I can't actually.
Me neither.
No. Sounds perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
This should work out well.
Yeah, I agree.
High innovation.
Yes. Excellent start. I'm very happy. Mike, how was your week?
How was my week? My week was
Mm-hmm.
good. Work was good. Nothing
Most
too
good.
crazy. We tried out the software that we're using now earlier this week, and got it to mostly work, which was good.
Oh, OBS. I thought you were talking about we were trying out
Oh,
some
no.
software work to do blank. Okay.
That's what I thought you
Yeah,
meant.
no, to try this whole OBS thing, but yeah. So, and then yesterday went to a little party. One of our friends is getting
Mhm.
married soon, and so they had a bachelorette thing for her earlier in the day with just the gals, and then they went over to our buddy Jamie's house, and we all met him over there, and little, let's say, wine, women, and
Little
song.
this, little that.
Big money, big women. Big
smoking,
problems.
drinking, eating, dancing.
Generally
I didn't do
having
any
at it.
dancing, but there was dancing.
Frivolity was had by some.
Yeah, exactly. Chips and dip, minus the dip. Yeah, so it was cool. Yeah,
What?
just chips.
Was
It wasn't.
dip not provided? I mean, you're
I bought a singular slice of carrot cake.
You
which I consumed.
bought or brought or both,
Brats. I bought and then brought
and then
carrot cake.
I was thinking of a word that's B for consume, but
Oh,
I'm sure there is one. I'm not a thesaurus. So, okay. Well, that's fun. Yeah. So that was good. That was a good time yesterday. James apparently struggling a little today after the festivities, but that's all right.
yeah. There's something there. I don't know what it is, but if I think I want to say some part of me wants to say allergies, but I think it's not allergies. It's just like sitting outside in the freezing cold, with just a thin coat on. It just like fucking destroys my sinuses, and I just feel like crap. I feel like I have like an instant overnight cold. So I woke up this morning at I always wake up at like 9 a.m. So I went to bed at like 5 last night. I got home around what time did we leave
I
there,
left
Michael?
after you, but
3?
I think I
Yeah,
got
I
home
think
at
I
like
left around
4:30.
3.
So
Yeah, so I left around 3 or 3:30 maybe, and I came home, put my coffee down. I mean, got a drink, got some water. Just sat down in my underwear and my t-shirt. Sat down in front of the computer. I was like, all right, I'm gonna play a game or watch some YouTube, and I turn on YouTube and I to get into my gaming ritual, and it's like the fucking middle of the night. Like I should be asleep. Instead, I was like this. I was like, well, we're starting the show late tomorrow because Mother's Day. I was like, I can take advantage a little bit, and I sat down. I turned on the video, and it was like out like a light. And the next thing you know, but it was the kind of sleep where you're like, I'm not asleep.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still doing what I thought I was doing before. So then I just became awake. And the time was seamless to me, except I was like, wait, damn, how'd this video change?
Yeah.
And apparently, I looked at a timer, I was like 2 hours into a fucking 4-hour video, and it wasn't the video I started watching, so I was like, okay, I guess I've been asleep for a while, and I looked at the time, it was like fucking 5 a.m., I was like, oh, I should go to bed. So then I went to bed, and I was like congested as I woke up at like 9 a.m. like automatically, and I was congested and just jammed packed. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
This eye was like sealed closed with like snot, whatever collects on your eye at night because eyes are disgusting. It was like, bleh. I was like,
Excess tears.
yeah. So it was like it was like a boogie.
Yes, dried tears.
But yeah, it was gross. Overall, my nose was running, a lot of build up.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I assume the aforementioned smoking last night did not help your sinuses.
Yeah,
Even
no.
if you did not smoke, you were probably around people who were. And then,
I smoked.
Okay, excellent. And then leaning back in your chair, probably sleeping with your mouth open.
Oh,
didn't help.
Look, if one is going to sleep in a chair, there's no other way to do it except for have your mouth.
No,
wide
I've
open.
adapted
Right.
the other method.
Now I respect.
Like this.
What?
Well, Mike tilts his head forward to completely
Yeah.
close off his airway.
This is real good. This is also really good for the neck and spine and stuff, Like,
Yeah, that's the ideal curvature.
So it's more like you kind of go pass out and then your body just jerks to get the airway open for a quick breath. Like,
oh, there's no snoring this way.
oh well, yeah, no,
You,
barely.
you
any living.
can't snore if you can't breathe, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, James, I admire your mental fortitude. I've been there myself to have the confidence to lean back, close your eyes, and convince yourself I'm fully capable of not going to sleep right now.
Yeah, I know.
And we all know what happens.
Yeah.
It's a lie we tell ourselves over and over again.
Yes.
But good. Glad you all had fun. Any thoughts on bachelor/bachelorette parties and their
Well,
significance?
luckily,
why they
or
exist?
whatever. Well, no.
Well, was that debated last night?
We weren't at the woman part, right? So we didn't see any
Right.
of that, whatever that involved. We did see.
Probably nothing but wine and
Well, there was.
cackling.
I don't know. There
Yeah, I'm
was posted some
pretty sure.
videos online of them running around the parking lot, and it was like it's a dare. I don't know what it was. I don't know what they were doing.
being
so.
dumb.
But there weren't like any
Oh,
strippers
no.
or anything crazy like that.
So
Yeah, so it was
It's like, it's my last night to fuck 10 dudes before I get married. Let's go ham.
yeah, exactly.
It's like, wait, aren't you engaged?
yeah,
Never
well,
mind
it wasn't
that.
one of those parties. So at least I don't think. I don't know. They didn't show that on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
You call this a hen party? No. Is that a thing?
Yes, it is.
Where hens
Oh.
eat a bunch of worms. You know
Oh,
what the
my.
worms are? No. It was, I, as far as I know, it was pretty tame. It was just friends getting together, having a good time,
Mm-hmm.
being very.
Yeah, I
inebriated.
got there and everyone was smashed.
Oh, they're destroyed. When I got there, they were destroyed. I saw Diana, the bride to be, and I walked in the room and she's like, "Hey!" And she walked up to me and I thought everything's fine. And she hugged me, and as soon as she hugged me, it's like she fell into me. She's like, like you just see her battery just die. She's like, like, oh my god. I was like, you're drunk. She's like, yeah. I was like, oh my god, it's crazy. Like they're all trashed. Every single one
Around
of them
3
got
a.m.,
in.
maybe 2:30, one of them pulls out a full baguette and starts ripping pieces off of it and eating.
Yeah, I was
Mike
like,
is like, this week's. Where are you hiding this?
Yeah, I was like, where'd you get this baguette from? I was like on the other side where all the dudes were like sitting alone. I look over. This heifer has a baguette out. I was like, where? And it's like in the bag, like the grocery bag, like a full size, long ass baguette. I was like, where the hell did this baguette come from?
Yeah, that was hilarious. Honestly, that was funny.
Yeah, she's one of my
Oh
fellow
yeah, that's
Canadian.
right.
A fellow
Except
Frenchman.
not from the French-speaking part of Canada, as most people aren't apparently.
And also not
correct.
a man.
Correct.
Nope. Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, but yeah, it was cool. It's all right, you know. How about you, Evan?
Good.
How was your week?
We also did not try out any new software at work. Pretty
I heard you had to
tame
reboot some physical
on that front.
servers.
2.
2 of them at the same time,
2.
or you rebooted one, waited, then you rebooted the other one?
Well, since we're in a high risk period right now, Mike, I did did them in phases. Can't take down the whole
Right.
network in one go. Yeah, but I did them, a few minutes apart, just to be
Were they
unnecessarily
pending
cautious.
reboots? I mean, pending updates or something? Or?
So, I don't know exactly why we get alerts that these systems need to be rebooted. For some reason in my head, I was like, oh, it has to do with group policy, which may or may not be true. But there's some script on there that's like, we haven't rebooted in, or it says that these systems need a reboot for
an unknown reason
whatever
that you have
reason.
no idea about.
It's above my pay grade to
You're
know.
just the
I'm not
rebooter.
allowed to know why.
Is that your job title?
That's correct. It may as well be these days. That's one of
What are
the
the
three things
you
I do.
Evan?
I reboot domain controllers. If there are space issues on the C drive, the root drive of any Windows server, preventing patches from being applied, I address those space issues when possible. And occasionally, I'll say maybe I do 4 things. Occasionally, I will deal with domain accounts, either unlocking or resetting passwords. And occasionally, I will check in newly built servers to make sure they comply with standards,
Check them
etc.
in, huh?
Mm-hmm. Give them a once over. Yep. And then forward that on to another group so they can give it a once over. And there was a group before mine that gave it a once over.
Well, at least you're thorough.
It's quite the
Yes.
process. Yes. Through.
Thorough.
Dude, let's not even get started on that. Alright.
That's fair. But yeah, very, very relaxed, uneventful week at work. On a personal note, I haven't really used it yet, but I have a new toy. Surprise, surprise on what it is. It's a wireless Razer mouse. I may mention it some more next week after I've gotten a few hours in my hand. I don't hate it so far upon first
keep on
impressions
seeing
of
ads for a
unboxing.
very similar looking one from Logitech.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the model number?
No, but
Not that it's very important. Okay. Something of note, as I notice, I have my Allegra decongestant pills on my desk. Allergies have been remarkably mild this year, which I'm very thankful for. Because normally, if I don't take this, and I go outside and there's lots of pollen, like my eyes shut, my nose closes up. I'm the Walking Dead, as it were. It's very difficult. but thankfully this year has been quite mild. Just as an aside, something I noticed. I had some pho this week. Got my typical combination. Unlike James, I am a fan of the tendon and stomach lining, the tripe.
Yikes.
But this tendon was like underboiled, nearly crunchy. So I was disappointed. I had to set it aside.
Crunchy tendon.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
No one wants that.
It's like a damn zombie. Just let me get some stomach lining. Tendon.
I thought they wanted brains.
Jesus Christ.
Ah.
I don't think they're discerning eaters. Man.
Evan, the mouse is MX Anywhere 3. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't think I would ever purchase that, but thank you for looking it up.
It's adding to a wish list as we speak.
Yeah.
He's like, I should keep
Yeah,
it
he's
for
like, well,
prosperity.
I do need.
Yeah, just to monitor the price,
you
you
need
know.
one. You need an exemplar. You know, you just need you keep one on file. You know, just.
There you go.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
interesting. I'm looking at the.
Yep, something to make sure that I hate it and
I
compare
clicked on
everything
the
else to
streaming section
Exactly.
of Logitech's website. It's like streaming gear, but at the top is all microphones, mostly made by Blue. It's like Blue Yeti, Blue Snowball.
They must own them.
Ah.
that. Yeah, Logitech bought them.
Okay. The Blue Yetis are quite nice.
Mm-hmm.
Snowball's
Is that the
decent,
one
too.
that kept
I think good. I
fucking
had a
up?
Snowball.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it had connection issues and it kept falling over and stuff, but that was probably more related to a mix of a bad one and me. But for the most part, people who have Yetis and Snowballs like them a lot.
Yeah, it was good for a couple of years, and either the
Yeah.
connection on the back of it got loose, or there was something wrong with the cable between that and your computer. But
Yeah, exactly.
you know, it's not for $45-ish. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was great. For the time I had it, it was quite
Nice. Nice. All right.
Anything worth mentioning in your life this week, James?
The servers are up and running, right? You got them squared away.
I mean, I haven't
don't
done
say.
anything with them actually this week.
Yeah.
They're on my list of things to do. I've been busy. I have been busy with real actual
alright.
work all week, so that's pretty good. And I'm getting more calls, which is nice. But it's also bad because I don't know what I'm doing. But at least now I'm getting to learn. So
When you get a call, do they call you on Slack or like how does that work?
I get an email, and then I
Oh,
have
okay.
we have a teleconference.
And then what?
Yeah, we set up a teleconference. I fumble my way through solving their problems, or write them all down so I can redirect.
What is
them to
it?
an
What is your
engineer,
job?
basically?
He's like customer support.
I'm a resident. No, I'm a resident. So basically, what would happen is, I would be I'm hired to go to the customer site and sit there like an employee, and kind of like I'm a shortcut for them, instead of going to support or having to call an engineer, or having to go through their sales team or something like that. They can call me for like most of the things. They can get me. I'm on site. I'm there to help them with most things and mitigate most of the basic problems they have. You know, there are obviously still support issues that support would handle, like major outages, or like a DEM went bad, or they had a whole node crashed or failed or something. You know, the physical hardware, that kind of thing, that's uncovered under warranty. But for the most part, they would go do most things through me, and then I would deal with support for them if support had to be called at all. You know, right now, because of my lack of knowledge in most of the topics, though, I'm either going to support for like directly and just facilitating a call between them and me and support, and I'm making it happen and nudging support to get it done quicker, and nudging the customer to get times set up, or I'm going to an engineer, to the sales engineer on our team, and harassing him for all the details that I need, and then going back to the customer like as soon as possible. So, I mean, I make their process better and more expedient. Once I really know the job, you know, it'll be way easier to do. It'll be be more or less interfacing with people and dealing. It's just that there's, like, for instance, the times I worked with Nutanix, those systems. I never worked with any Nutanix software because everything was all the government, whatever the government needed, which was like VMware overlaid on top of Nutanix. Basically, like, we always kind of make fun, but basically like storage. So like Nutanix Files, which is their version of like backup stuff or server-side backup stuff, or actually it's their version of like a network shares. Like I never have used that before. You know, or like Calm or Flow, like a lot of these things that Nutanix has that are integrated in their system that some customers like using now, I just haven't messed with. So I have to go to someone for help for this stuff. But you know, as I learn, it'll get better. But it's just good. You get to like at least you know how it is in IT. People ask you questions, you don't know. You do the research, now you know. You know what I mean? So it's good times, man. You know, it sucks. I have a trip. We have 2 trips coming up back to back, and it means I'm probably gonna interrupt I wanted to leave early for those trips. It's probably gonna interrupt that, but it is what it is. You know.
It's nice to be involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely. So I do want to work on those servers this week. I want to get them up because I want to stand up a TeamSpeak server and host it here locally. I want to stand up TeamSpeak. I want to stand up. I want to stand up a version of what we're doing here with OBS and run it there. And I want run it here just in case. And then I would love to get this working, so then so Evan can get his working modeled off mine, and then we can get some kind of like
do cool stuff.
Yeah.
This is how it is. This is what it is right here. It's this thing. It's that.
VPN.
It's called
yes.
DR.
Yes.
Yeah. Async DR. That's what they call it. Async DR. So that means, and I don't know if it's even available in the Community Edition of Nutanix, but if it is, I would love to try to get that set up between us, which would allow my systems, my nodes, to fail over to Evan's and Evan's node, and he could stand at my VMs right away, straight off the bat, and vice versa. So as long as we have the same IP space, which we could easily do internally. So
nice. Nice.
That would be fun to do.
Yeah, it would. It would.
Now, are you choosing TeamSpeak just because it's
I need
doable?
TeamSpeak for Arma. So we just bought an Arma server. We're renting it. It's $50 a month. And I want to try building the Arma server too locally here, but I mean, I don't think I have the outgoing bandwidth to deal with that. But one of the things TeamSpeak needs, one of the things Arma needs for voice comms is TeamSpeak. So I'll stand up a TeamSpeak server here, and that should be, I can give that like a really minimal VM to run on, and that should be it should be fine. You know what I mean? But yeah.
Interesting. So TeamSpeak is, integrated as their voice communication system somehow?
No. So there's a middleman. So you have Arma, right? Arma's a platform for military simulation.
Yes.
Basically. And people build a lot of stuff on that platform. One of the things they built is a thing called TFR, Team Force Radio, I think is what it stands for. And the cool thing, so the basic Arma map is probably like 100 by 100 kilometers. Okay, and it's all rendered in real time. It all exists in time. All the enemies and AI on the playing field, on the battlefield, exist. All the assets exist. You can call for fire from a fire base 30 kilometers away, run by players, and it lands, where you call it in at. Well, the thing is, they wanted to very closely simulate radio communications between blue force elements. So that means like you have UHF and VHF. Well, VHF, that's your close range, like me talking to people within like 500, within say, I don't know,
5 kilometers.
Maybe it's 5 kilometers, 500 meters, something like that. It's 5 kilometers.
Okay.
Is with a good line of sight. You know what I mean? Like not too much, not too crazy, hilly, that kind of thing. But you could talk to someone. I think it's like 5 kilometers. UHF is your long distance radio that broadcasts across the whole island. So if you're like a lieutenant, if you're a commander of like, or a squad leader of like a squad, your whole squad is talking on UHF, but you're carrying two radios as the squad leader. You're carrying a UHF and a VHF radio. So what TFR and TeamSpeak does is TFR sits as a middleman between the TeamSpeak servers and the Arma 3 server, and basically all the players go into one big TeamSpeak room with TFR enabled. TFR automatically looks at the game and says all these people in your squad, and they're all on Radio Freak. They're all on VHF Radio Freak 120, and so you should only be able to hear these people. Okay, so it silences all the people who you couldn't physically hear in the real world. And let's say your lieutenant is 5.5 kilometers away, he's just out of range, he's going to come back broken and spotty with like simulated radio sound from the radio waves deflecting off of buildings and hilltops and shit like that. So UHF does the same thing. It comes in scrambled, it comes in fucked up, that kind of thing. It's really cool, actually.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool. And the other thing is it also handles local comms. So like when I play squad, I have as a squad leader, I have 3 audio channels: local, push-to-talk, command comms, and squad comms. So squad comms are just between the squad, command comms are just between all the squad leaders, local, anyone around me within a certain radius can hear. And I have 3 buttons on my mice for that. In Arma, you just talk, open, and you talk, and anyone who's within a range of you can hear you. You know, that's it. Just like real life, you just talk and people can hear you.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking on the radio, when you hit your PTT to talk command, people around you can hear your side of the conversation because they would be able to, and then people on the radio obviously hear your side of the conversation because you're broadcasting over the radio. You know, so it's really cool, honestly. And the thing is, it knows. It says, oh, okay, Mike and Evan are standing next to you in the game. They can hear you. So we're going to make sure their channels are still lit up. And then Dave and John, who are 30 kilometers away back at base, they can hear you. So we're going to light their channels up when your push-to-talk goes off because that's who you're broadcasting to. They're on UHF 220 or whatever. So it's really cool. Now the bad thing is when TeamSpeak crashes, it goes from like silence or just people talking to like 100 people all talking at once. Like all the it's like and then it chooses violence. You know what I mean? It's like fucking instantly insane. So, and TeamSpeak does crash quite often, depending on how full the server is. So, yeah, but it's cool. I mean, it's honestly a baffling, very cool technology. Arma is a surprisingly amazing game when it comes to what you can do in it. It's shocking how cool it is.
Very impressive.
Well, how are the earlier versions compared to this one? Arma.
Of TeamSpeak or Arma? I mean, they're all basically the same. The only thing they've added is better graphics and more modability. There's more things, you know. Probably the coolest thing other than TFR is ACE. And I don't know what it stands for, but it's like a combat realism thing. So let's say someone's wounded. You first have to check their pulse, or visually inspect them, then check their pulse, look for fractures, look for this. So healing someone, you give them morphine, then adrenaline. It's like a real medical simulation. So you could, if you gave someone the wrong thing, you could just kill them outright with too much morphine, or you give them the wrong thing and they just lay there for like a half an hour trying to get healed. It's crazy, dude.
It's pretty crazy.
It's nuts. Yeah, but if you're into like the hardcore simulation, it's cool.
Sounds almost like I mean, I don't really know because I never played it, but what's like Microsoft Flight Simulator? Like, like
I mean,
they even
that's
have
probably
like people
fair.
who are air traffic controllers and stuff. And
yeah, that's
sounds
fair.
like a version like that,
That's
but it's
fair.
combat. Yeah, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
How many people take it way too seriously?
James
Probably
is like,
more,
I'm
a
one
little
of
more
them.
than half.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I barely know how to play it. Right now, I'm fumbling, but I'm sure I will. I mean, I take squad.
He's
way
like,
too
come on, guys,
seriously.
quit fucking around.
You know, I take squad way too seriously. Yeah, you should hear me. It's really bad. I have a whole speech when I start. I was like, okay, guys, I'm a sweaty squad leader. I like to win. You guys are my tools. Without you, I can't succeed. Don't wander off. Don't do weird shit. If I see you across the map, I'll probably just kick you. Sorry. That's how it is. Okay? Stick with the squad. Don't wander off. You know? And I'm like, because the squad is like in a weird place as far as these type of games are concerned. It's like serious enough and has enough things going on that you have to kind of be on your game to manage it. But then it also is close enough to arcadey that it draws in a lot of like COD players and young people who don't really, they're just coming to shoot. So that connective tissue causes there to be like a weird mix of like people who are in there memeing, you know, and we're in there like former military guys who are like, I'm trying to have a hardcore experience, you know, and as to where like, let's say in COD, you go in and a game is 15 minutes long. In Squad, you go in and a game can be as long as 2 hours. You go into Arma, and like Arma, the game that's running on the Arma server we have right now will probably run for a month, you know?
That's crazy.
Until the island is fully captured. Yeah, it's a persistent battlefield. So people could log in 24 hours a day and engage in combat ops. So it's honestly really cool.
Sounds like it.
Mm-hmm.
We have to reset the server like every 6 hours, which sucks, but yeah.
Is that because it's overloaded or?
No, Arma is very unstable.
Okay.
It is extremely unstable. I don't know if it's all the mods or just like the company makes Arma just shitty. It's just a very unstable. It's probably because technology is not made to host and fully run. Like most games, you have LODs, you know, layer of detail. So when you look at something far off, you're seeing a condensed, tiny, weird version of it that just kind of slightly resembles a helicopter.
Mm-hmm.
Arma does that too, but that helicopter still exists on the map. Like the pilot still can see that whole helicopter. You know, and if you're on the ground under it, 10 kilometers away, you can see that helicopter. So it's always being rendered for somebody. You know, so the world fully exists at all times. So yeah,
So it's not optimized resource-wise, but on purpose.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, maybe it is as close as they could get it. I don't know. I'm not a programmer, but it's really close to being in a really great place. But it just is a very complex game with a lot of things going on. You know.
Right.
Excellent. Okay. Shall we get into some news?
Yes.
All right. I have the first link here. So apparently there's a shortage of lethal injection drugs, in case no one had come to think about that. So Columbia, South Carolina has reinstated, via vote, firing squads as the execution of the death penalty for prisoners, which apparently, I guess if lethal injection drugs are available, that's sort of the default, but some states still have electrocution as an option, so maybe the prisoner gets to choose their method of execution, which this is something I didn't even consider. But
I thought they used to. I don't think they do anymore, but I thought they used to.
Only one way to find out. We have to get on death row.
Yikes.
There's literally no other way to get this information other than firsthand.
Yeah. So, you know what's funny, right?
Death and death and...
Honestly, I saw this... I saw this story in here. Like I said, you know, I just read a book about this, and actually, you know, John Oliver does a great piece on it, like about 6 months ago, on this kind of stuff. And dude, the fucking whole lethal injection shit is terribly sketchy.
Yeah.
Like nobody knows. Like this is like literally pseudoscience, and it's like what's supposed to happen is it's supposed to just stop your heart and stop you from breathing, like within the so many seconds of each other or something. What actually happens is you get injected with a paralytic, so you can't move, and then you drown in your own bodily fluids because your lungs stop working because you can't move because you're injected with a paralytic.
Yeah.
And then you just drown, and you can't scream or twitch or anything like that. It's terrifying.
So
it
like
couldn't be
this
the worst
is
way to die.
this is perfectly painless. Are you sure? It's like, I mean,
and apparently it
probably
burns the entire time.
I mean, I don't
wouldn't
really
surprise
have. I mean, it sounds
Dude.
like, oh my god, they're doing firing squads. I don't really see how it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
And just like you said, like lethal
It's
injection
great.
is supposed to be this nice, humane method to go, and it's really not. You know,
Yeah. Shoot
And
me.
it's more like
Shoot me.
shoot. Aim for the heart and the head, and I think you'll be good. Like, and you're done.
Yeah.
Just you're done. So
That'd be yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah, just shoot me. The one I don't want to deal with is the fucking
Sparky?
Yeah. That and the my least favorite would be lethal injection. The second least would be old Sparky, and then probably the next after that would be hanging. The next after that would be firing squad. The one that I would really love would be guillotine. That's the one.
yeah, that's a reliable, quick one.
It's gonna work.
Unless it's like a not sharp blade or something, and they're like,
I mean,
oh, we only got halfway through.
I think in 2021 they just may have a pneumatic blade,
Right.
and it's just like, they can make it look really nice on the outside, and it's really quick,
What about execution being featured on the hydraulic press channel?
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Just like squeeze your head slowly.
Jesus.
It would,
So romantic.
you'd be in hell for like 5 seconds, but then your head would pop. And you'd be fine.
I mean, that's that's great. That's awesome, man. Let's do it. Yeah, like
Ugh.
Jesus.
Now, I wonder for firing squad, since this is a fairly brief article, do they go for the heart? Like, can they not shoot you in the head because someone has to visually identify your body afterwards or something?
I think they're going to shoot you in the heart.
I don't know why they would have to. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I don't know how that works. But
Shooting in the heart's like a switch.
Hopefully.
They want to shoot you in the heart. Head.
I thought
you should
head
have
and
that.
heart were switches.
I mean, the base of the spine is where your head meets your spine is a switch, or some part of your brain is. But they could if they hit you, they could shoot you as easily in the fucking middle of your head as they could shoot you in the fucking jaw. That's
True.
still your head, right? Like, or your like orbital bone or something like that. It bounces off your bone or some shit.
Well,
like, can you
it also
imagine?
depends
Just
on
scrambles your
the
brain.
caliber and all that.
Yeah.
True.
I'm assuming.
So bring out the elephant gun, shoot him in the heart.
What they should do
Okay.
is just have a guy come behind you with a silenced 22, and just go pop, and that's it. I know.
That's kind. Yeah, just let me play Smash Brothers, and I'll be like, all right. They'll be like, we're gonna execute you tomorrow. But okay, cool. But here's Smash Brothers. Have your steak, eat your dinner. Yeah, but all right. I eat my dinner. And they say, as soon as you finish your dinner, Smash Brothers. Like, oh, okay, cool. Smash Brothers, and then it's just like, it just fucking. That's it. Done. That'd be great. That's a great way to go. That's a great way to go.
There you go.
Quick, fast, in a hurry.
Or what if they take off the back of your head via sniper rifle, but they leave your face for identification?
Yikes. That's what you use the 22. The brown goes in, bounces around, scrambles your whole noodle, and then doesn't come out the fucking Michael Evans like blow the top of your head off. Like,
Right.
what the
Well,
fuck?
that's like.
He's like, bring out the elephant
right,
gun, bring
exactly.
out
I
the
was
50
like-
BMG and shoot
I was
that
like,
in his
you need
head.
The
one of those,
blunderbuss,
whatever.
Explode
what's
his
that,
head.
An anti-materiel rifle. Or
Just
whatever?
put a safety,
Yeah, exactly.
put some C4 on top of your head.
Like dude, you get sanctioned by the UN for using that on prisoners. I'm sure, because you're not allowed to use that on people. You know that. That's why they call it an anti-material tail rifle. It's a war crime to use that against.
You know,
people.
Evan, you can't like shoot an ambulance and stuff unless there's an insurgent hanging out the side of it shooting at you. Then you can shoot it, right? But otherwise, you're not allowed to. You know, it's like which to me it's so nuts. Like there are rules. I'm like, really? There are rules? Like,
who has the burden of proof in this scenario, Mike?
I think that's the old school like rules of war shit, like the old school shit, like
well,
don't fight on
I
Sundays,
mean that's
that's okay. So assuming you're not on a conquest of genocide, then fine, follow the rules. But if you're a man of conviction, you're taking those bodies wherever they are.
That's a man of conviction.
Mm-hmm.
Man of will, conviction.
Also, I noticed
this fucking John Wick. He's like will, determination.
Oh yeah,
no, what is it?
I watched that the other day.
Sheer fucking will, you know.
Mm-hmm.
John Wick.
Did you guys hear about the? It was the. What are they called? Luftwaffe pilot. He's flying in World War II. I think he's got like, a few confirmed kills. Like this guy's working his way up through the shit, And the U.S. are coming in their bombers.
Mm-hmm.
There's a U.S. ship lagging behind that was all fucked up, and it was just trying to turn around. They do the bombing run, but this ship never does its bombing run. They're trying to turn around because they're all fucked up. Like, they're all fucked up. Like, and the pilot comes, and he's about to do a run on them, and he's like, he's not getting shot at. He's like, what the fuck? Why am I not getting shot at? So then he sees the ship on close inspection. It's all fucked up. Like, all fucked up. And he's like, these guys are going to they're fucked. Right? So he flies up next to them, and he looks at the pilot, and the fucking pilot's like this, like looking all insane. He's bleeding. The guy's like, and so the Luftwaffe pilot escorts this guy through German territory all the way to, the coast. So before he goes into British territory, and then flies back. And the video I saw, they're talking about this. They're like, yeah, they like some of these guys still believed in the chivalry of war, warfare, whatever like that. And I was like, that's so crazy. I mean, I think it's cool, but also I think it's crazy. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess honor exists, but that's a fucking easy kill. That's like adding 4 to your, KDR.
Yeah.
You take that shot.
Your KDR. Nice.
Dude, thank God in war they weren't counting KD. They weren't counting KD, right? Like they weren't like how many kills did you get? You know what I mean? They're counting it, but they weren't like what's your numbers looking like? And then posting that score up, because then people would be really like, all
no
that shit would be
leaderboards
out the window. Yeah, no leaderboards. All that chivalry shit would be way out the window.
Very true. What were we talking about? Death penalty? Oh yeah. So you guys are saying A22 to the back of the head, which is from some movie. Now let me remind you of, I believe it's rule number 2, Mike.
Don't
since you're a fan of zombies.
Oh no, okay, I'm thinking of something else.
Double tap? Is that rule number 2? Rule number 1 is cardio, I think. We're not doing that.
Well, I'm thinking of I was originally thinking of your boy Steve Martin in My Blue Heaven. That is not true.
Never seen
it. I bought you the DVD.
Have I?
You claim to love the movie.
That means nothing.
It's the one where Steve Martin and Rick Moranis are in witness protection. Steve Martin's like a gangster that Rick Moranis has in witness protection. He's like an FBI guy or something. And
that's vaguely familiar.
Cusack is in it.
Why do I want to picture him as a car salesman? But that could be wrong.
In the movie, Steve Martin, there's a scene where he's in court testifying, and he's talking about it. He's like, well, they shoot you in the back of the head with the 22, it just kind of rattles around and blah, blah, blah. And So, yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, it definitely came from a movie.
I was thinking of Casino or Goodfellas or one of those, but If it's look, if it's Steve Martin, so be
Steve
it.
Martin is Steve Martin. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was in that. That's a weird movie for Steve Martin because he's like a gangster.
Yeah, but
or
it's
something.
funny
It's just,
still,
it's
so
just odd. Yeah, it was I mean, but he doesn't. He looks like the farthest thing away from like Italian mafia guy.
right.
You know
Well,
what I mean?
he basically does like a caricature of one. You know, like
Yeah. Wait, his last name's Martin. Is he Italian? Is Martin his last name? What's the etymology of that, Michael? You're our genealogy expert.
I don't know.
Martin.
I feel like I'm thinking Dean Martin, so I'm like maybe it's Italian.
I'm thinking it's Spanish.
Oh yeah, Martine. Yeah, could be.
It says he's
Probably
English,
so.
Scottish, Welsh, Scots, Irish, German, and French.
Okay, look, white
We're-
people
we're
always say
way
stuff
off.
like that.
Well, okay, Mike, we're not talking about him. Where's like his great great
Yeah, I
grandparents?
don't know.
Where are they from?
And nobody's from that many places.
That includes Scots, Irish,
Nobody has
German,
that much
French, Welsh, and whatever. So
British.
English, Scottish.
Yeah, British.
Yeah.
You can't say 19 things that are all England and be like Scots, Irish, German Shepherd.
What does
just chill,
Scots,
bro,
Irish
alright?
mean
Look,
if you're not Scottish or Irish? I don't understand.
it means from the British Isles. British Isles.
Yeah,
Same
I mean he's from there, so that's fine. Yeah, whatever. So none of that is Italian.
I'm gonna make a note to look up the history. We'll see about that.
Steve Martin is 75 years old. How about that?
Hilarious.
That's not hilarious, but he is a funny guy.
He's a funny guy though. Always had white hair.
Dude,
Very funny guy.
there's a picture of him
He's one of the
as
greats.
a senior in high school here on Wikipedia, and it looks exactly like him. No, there it's black.
White hair, right?
Quite black.
Oh, okay. All right.
You're black.
Well, the greats don't age. Steve Martin, Morgan Freeman, they were born
That is true.
50 years old.
That is true. Morgan Freeman, Gregory Hines, James Earl Jones. Although,
Dude, would these guys be funny now? If Steve Martin was like, okay, I'm coming out, he's coming out now. Steve Martin and Martin Short make one of their great movies. I don't know, I can't think of one, but they made a bunch of movies together.
Mm-hmm.
If they came out now, would they be funny?
Barely.
Right, I don't think so either. I think about like Three Amigos. I'm like, that movie is not funny anymore. Sad, but it's not funny anymore. And that's one of their more recent ones, but it's not like the height of their careers, which was like the 80s
I've never
and
seen
70s,
that movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine. You'll see a lot of jokes, or a lot of things are from that movie. It's one of those type of films. I'm sure a lot of not current comedians, but let's say Dave Chappelle age comedians base their whole careers on stuff like that, of that era. I think now comedy's more doomer
Yes.
than it is like, whatever it was before.
Definitely there's less jokes now and more like sort of weaving funny scenarios into observational comedy.
Yeah.
Which I personally like that development. I don't like, set up joke punchline. I think that's very boring.
Yeah, I think we're all past that right now, right? So, look, we watch, and I really encourage Evan, if you get an opportunity, to watch the episode of Saturday Night Live from last night with Elon Musk in it. Number one, Elon Musk is a fucking alien. Like, he's barely a person.
Right.
He's like if the android known as Mark Zuckerberg was defective. That's what he is.
Okay.
Like, he spends his entire time like doing this weird thing with his neck, and he's like just fucking. It's fucking strange as hell. Every time he talks, it sounds like he's a South African man fighting his accent, which is what he is.
Yes.
So that comes out even more, and he looks like really puffy for some reason. And he just is super awkward, but there's some moments that are real gems in there, And one thing Jamie observed, so me and Jamie are watching this because we were looking for some Dogecoin drops, right? So we're watching it, right? And I think the first episode, and I was like, okay, I realized something. I mean, I don't like Saturday Night Live as it is. I've never thought the show's funny. I'm like, I don't know who this comedy is for. It's not for me. But the first thing was called Gen Z Hospital. And it was like everybody just dropping like one Gen Z buzzword after another. They're like, no, Cap, our bestie's dead? Bruh. You know, it was like, it's like that, you know, basically.
Yeah.
So it was really bad. It was just like an attack on Gen Z. And I was like, who's this for? Like, this might as well be like, millennials like avocado toast, those fucking idiots. Like, it was just that against Gen Z. So it's like really bad. The second one was, and I'm bringing this up for a reason. I'm talking about this for a reason. The second one was like a TV show about Philadelphia. About they were like, it was a cop drama that takes place. They're like, it takes place in a place that you find familiar, you know. And it was like, and it'll be led by a sassy woman, a sassy female, a gritty female, sassy detective with a certain type of accent. And then they show like their main, like the funny lesbian chick who they have. I can't think of her name. She's hilarious though. They show her in there, and she's like, "Oh, murder! They murdered the dirter." You know, it's like, what the fuck? Like, they murdered the dirter, the murder, and there's like, and they shows like a bunch of cops eating hoagies, like there on the crime scene. It's like they're like in Pennsylvania, you know, and the whole thing was memeing hard on Pennsylvania, making fun of their accents, making fun of their love of hoagies and Yingling, and how they're all cousins. And I was just like, what the fuck is this
Apparently
show?
that was,
you know? And then they're like,
they were making fun of a show on HBO or something that I've never heard of. So
I mean, there's a show on HBO like that that's similar to that, but I don't know what it was. And the thing is, the comedy is so niche that it's not something you should put on a show like Saturday Night Live, right? Because I've never seen it. I know what they're talking about now that you've said it, but I've never seen it. You know, it's not a show I would ever watch, so I don't know. It is not relatable. You know what I mean? So, and at the end they said Joe Biden's from here. I was like,
the show is called Mayor of Easttown.
You know,
Mare of Easttown.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know, Michael.
I didn't know
I didn't
either.
Even know that was what
I
it was
just
called. I had no idea.
Googled it. So,
but, and then the next skit was like Elon Musk as Wario in a murder trial against he was the suspect in killing Mario, you know, in a tragic cart accident. Okay, and on the face that is funny, but really it was just like really bad Italian accents. And then the end of the thing was like, brought to you by the Italian American Council. And I was just like, what?
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I say this, I turned to Jamie, right? Because Jamie's like a budding comedian, right? He's trying to be a comedian. So he's trying to do stand-up comedy. So I said, you're the comedy expert. Is comedy now only about race? Because this is just like, it basically, oh yeah, and they did a show where everyone was Icelandic, and they were just making fun of Icelandic people. And it was just like hardcore. Like, if you swapped Icelandic out with Mexican or black, it would be a problem. You know?
Okay,
a huge problem. So I was like, do they think Icelandic people are just going to, like, everyone's name is Bjorg, and everyone's fucking their cousin also here? Like, what is this? And so I thought to myself, I was like, look, this is, like, it's obvious they don't have anything to be, like, they can't, this show's not funny unless they're making fun of a group. And I said to Jamie, I was like, is that all comedy is making fun of groups? And he's like, well, I mean, sort of, kind of, almost. And I was like, but Dane Cook did, like, comedy where he was like, this is relatable. It wasn't about, like, people, necessarily, except for relatable things. And he was like, you hated him. I was like, I did hate him. He sucked. Relatable comedy's not funny. It's lazy. I was like, but it wasn't like, I don't know. I feel like we have to be, I think the days of being like, black people love watermelon. Like, I I feel like the days of that is done, right? Like, that's not comedy anymore. Now people don't like that kind of stuff anymore. So why would they do the same thing again? But they're like, we'll just pick on white people. You know, like that's all they did. We'll pick on white people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and at some point, white people are gonna be like, wait a second, huh?
Probably
Like,
not.
No, they will. Sure, they will. You think people in some Icelandic Americans not gonna be like, what the fuck?
Oh, they don't care.
I don't know, man.
You can't be racist against white people, James.
I think you can.
I think
racist
that's
against
funny
anybody.
you say that because two people were discussing that last night at the party.
Of course they were. So is white people discussing the value of racism.
Well, one was saying, exactly that. You absolutely a non-white person can be racist to a white person, and the other person said no, they cannot.
Who legitimately believes the answer is no, they can't?
Say their name.
You don't have to say it right now, but I do want to know.
I want to know
off
too,
air
because that person's stupid.
I agree.
Because that implies, number one, that the word's not primary. It implies basically saying you can't be racist against white people says that they are the standard of which race is based, or something like that, which is baloney. Because that's what the implication is. Because if they aren't considered a race like everybody else, that means they're the baseline.
Interesting.
I think the argument was
not that well thought out.
Something like that, but it was more like,
like white people deserve it because they were so racist in previous generations.
That's the core of it. That's the core of it.
It's like
that's
you can't be
what
racist
white
against
guilt.
The establishment. Like the establishment's here. So,
I mean, that's what I'm saying though. The primary race, base race, establishment. Yes, but that's the thing. White people are the establishment? They're not the establishment. They happen to be the majority, but they're not the establishment. If you look at culture, black culture basically is sewn into the fabric of America like 75%. So to say that white people are culturally, or it just says they're the most significant by saying they're the establishment or something, and they're just not. They're just another group of people here trying to make it. Yeah, they are a large group, but they're only the establishment because they're helping each other out inadvertently, because human beings are nesters who click with their people who look like them. But once we are aware of those biases, that's going to go away. So there's no like other reason other than human beings being lazy and cliquish that exists in the first place. So I just think it's like naive and stupid to not say like what do you think's going to happen when America's 75% other races than white, which is what's going to happen in like 100 years or so.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you think's going to happen then? You think white people will be marginalized? And all the mulatto, coffee-colored children who are like half Spanish, half black, half whatever the fuck, they're all gonna be light brown. Are gonna be like their superiority thing is gonna flip, and white people are probably gonna be. I mean, I don't know if it'll flip, but I think we'll be so far in the future that people would have forgotten the lessons of the past, and there'll be people ready to repeat that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if white people are marginalized and poor and they have problems. You know what I mean? If they're in a struggle, which maybe that won't happen. Maybe white people will be able to take advantage of a future utopian society, so it won't matter that they're only 25 or 35% of the population. But in America, but it's gonna happen. So, I don't know, man. I think racism can go either way. I think it's very naive and it's stupid to say, and it carries a bunch of bias in it inherently by saying that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I never. No.
Yeah, I was about to say like he doesn't want to say because it was.
But then the person made the argument that there's a difference between racism and discrimination, and so I don't know.
That doesn't make the other statement
I'm not saying
true.
it does.
Yeah, yeah. Relationship
yeah.
does not make does not make these things somehow together. I mean, that's there's a name for that kind of argument. I'm not smart enough to know what it is, but there's a name for that type of argument. It's not a valid argument. That's like saying Michael wears a hat, and so since Michael has a hat and Evan has a head, Evan should also wear a hat. Like, it's okay. So fuck what? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, discrimination and racism is not the same thing. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but you know, that's more interpretive shit. Like, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know?
Okay. Anything more about comedy being unfunny these days?
No, you should watch it. I mean, the show wasn't...
I'm sure I'll see some clips.
That whole Pennsylvania skit was funny, but it was just like... I could see people in Pennsylvania be like, what the fuck, bro? And the Icelandic skit was stupid. It was totally unfunny. It was not funny at all. You know, like, who's this? Seriously, anybody who watches this show, and I know only like 3 of you watch this show, but if you watch this show, please send us an email and answer this question for me. Who the fuck is SNL for? SNL is like the Oscars of comedy shows. Like, it's not funny. It's not interesting anymore. I just don't even get it. You know, you have your favorite singer come on there. She sings a bunch of songs you don't know and you haven't heard. Okay, you have some fucking douche canoe come up there. It's like rarely some famous guy. It's normally like some guy you're like, they're like, Jeff Daniels' older brother is hosting this week. You're like, who the fuck's that? You know? So I don't know.
It's been a long time since I've really watched it. I liked it when I was sort of a mid to late teenager, like late 90s, early 2000s. It was like Will Ferrell and Molly Shannon and Adam Sandler would come guest star once in a while, stuff like that.
There have been some really funny people on that show. I think this time in history is not one of those times. There's like one skit that I think is normally quite funny, and it's the nightly report or whatever. You have that black guy and that white guy, and they do their little funny skit. Their news skit is funny, you know, sort of, but it's also full of a lot of duds.
Mm-hmm. I think the comedian you were trying to think of earlier, is it Kate McKinnon? Because she's hilarious.
She's hilarious. She's not. I think she's underutilized on Saturday Night Live. I think she's the star of Saturday Night Live right now, and it's time she needs to graduate up to movies and get the fuck out of Saturday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
But I saw the opening credits for Saturday Night Live not that long ago, and I was like, "Well, who are any of these people? How is it going for this long?" I was like, "What is going on?"
Yeah, it's full of nobodies right now. Like, where is the Chris Rock of this series of show? Where's the Dave Chappelle? Where's the skinny, dorky, tall white guy who goes naked in the quad? What's his name? Will Ferrell. Where's the Will Ferrell?
Yeah.
You know, like where there's none of those people. Kate McKinnon is the closest they got, and she on a show with like a Will Ferrell or a fucking even that chick who did Bridesmaids, and she was Cheetah in the shitty Wonder Woman movie. You know what I'm talking about?
Never saw it, so
I haven't seen any of the Wonder Woman movies.
Okay, number one, you need to watch the first Wonder Woman movie. It's excellent. Gal Gadot is nice. Okay. 2, the second Wonder movie's horrible.
You mean Kristen Wiig?
But whatever. Kristen Wiig. So
I like her.
Kristen Wiig is great. Also Saturday Night Live alum. Standing among those people just mentioned, Will Ferrell, Kristen Wiig, Dave Chappelle, Chris Rock, Kate McKinnon, it would be a B-level player.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And not saying she's not funny. She's very funny. But she's not even standing where those people are standing. There's nobody on their level on that show right now. So yeah, I'm baffled by that show right now. Very confused by it. Sorry, folks. That wasn't in our show notes. We just went on a long
No, it's okay.
tirade.
I'll be sure to forward this episode to Lauren Michaels, and you will face judgment.
Do it. Go for it. Lauren Michaels needs to be fucking shit canned. They need some new talent on that show. They need a new producer to make it happen. Fresh blood.
All right. We'll go on to the second article here.
We
Mike,
kind of
if
talked
you would...
about it already, but indirectly.
Okay, right. It ties into the guest appearance.
Elon Musk obviously was on SNL, and they did mention Dogecoin. And when he did, it caused nothing but for it to go down in value instead of up, like everyone thought it would.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. We thought, oh, it's gonna go up, baby, $2, $2. Nope. It was at like 68 cents. Now it's
Who
like 53
thinks
cents.
that? Yeah. It's in
still
a
up.
consolidation phase.
Yeah. So I'm happy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the funny thing about Dogecoin is this episode, like, they're talking about Dogecoin on CNN. I mean, they have like they've brought in an expert to speak about it. This is crazy, dude. Like we're living in the worst timeline right now. You know, it's like post Donald Trump presidency, post Bitcoin blow up. You know, fucking Dogecoin's up 7,000%. Like, what is going on, yo? Meme currencies are the hot stock right now. You know. What's next? Ass and
What
Bitcoin.
next? What's next?
You know?
GameStop and Nokia. Like, get out of here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And GameStop's still at $160 a share, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking, like, oh, come on, bro.
Oh man.
What's going on?
It's the disintegration of the established financial markets around the world.
That's a good thing. Bring it down to the ground.
It is a good thing.
Here.
It's only a good thing because we are not ingrained in those established financial systems and we're not profiting from it. If we were, we'd be like, fuck all this bullshit.
For the local rich guys, we could just easily escape. No big deal.
Yeah.
Look, they're showing a fucking on this post. They're showing a picture of fucking the Doge inside a rocket ship going to the moon. Like it's so crazy, dude.
Mm-hmm.
It fits with the culture. Everything is hype now. Kids have money. You can invest, spend money on your phone. Everyone has a fucking phone. You can be really dumb and make a lot of money.
Amen, brother. All right. Well, anything else? Anyone want to say anything else about Doge?
I hope it tanks back to 2 cents just because I'm bitter about what happened, what I did.
What did you
Mike,
do?
I hope you get your money from it. Jane, we've been over this a couple times. I told you.
Oh, you sold it
months and months ago. Yeah, an inadvertent purchase, an angry sell would have been worth a lot of money right now. So
apparently
I'm
James
bitter at
had
myself.
34,000 Doge at one point and sold it for nothing. So he's in the same boat.
Yep. Sold it.
Well, he sold it. He probably sold it for a profit at the time.
Yeah, I mean, from $20 to $40, I guess. I mean.
Yep.
But that $40 should have been like a few, several grand. So,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, FOMO's real, yo. I bought $300 worth of Doge right now last night before the show and lost $25 or $35 of it. So yeah,
It could still go up.
I mean, I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna turn away and leave it and not worry about it.
Yeah. That apparently is the best thing to do.
Right.
Always.
We learned that lesson a long time ago. We should have stuck with it. Although that was not the case with CCIV.
Well, I mean, if you are invested in something for 4 years, it's likely that you will see good returns.
Right. Well, we'll see.
Yep. So hang on to that, to the 80 shares or whatever you have for 3.5 more years, Mike, and you're good to go.
Fair enough.
All right. Next article: Starbright.
Yeah. So more Elon Musk news. SpaceX. They launched a Starship prototype rocket, the SN-15, and it successfully landed after its test flight. So this is the first one that ended without the rocket destroyed.
Really? I thought they had a few
Not
that
the
have
Starship
landed.
thing.
No problem.
They've landed other things.
I thought they landed a
I
Starship.
guess not.
And do you know what makes this different from their previous rockets?
I know it's a different model. Other than that, I don't know.
Is this like the big one that's sending people to Mars?
It is going to send people to... Supposedly, it will be for cargo missions and people to the moon and Mars.
Okay.
So, that's cool. And it says here, earlier this month, NASA awarded SpaceX a $3 billion contract to build a lunar version of Starship to carry astronauts to the moon.
To build a lunar version. I wonder what kind of modifications they'll have to make. Just be like, okay, slap a new serial number and a NASA logo on it. We're good to go. Thank you for your money.
Probably.
Yep.
Who knows?
So, that's cool.
Well, good for them. Scientific progress.
Yeah, would love to see it.
Quick aside about Elon Musk. I think a lot of people think of him as like a self-made man and everything. And granted, he's done very well for himself. He's intelligent, but I like his parents. Owned a diamond mine in South Africa and shit while he was growing up. So he didn't come from
never
nothing.
do, Evan. Except maybe Bill Gates.
That's
came
true.
From nothing. I don't know. I don't really know his story.
And what that really says, Mike, if I may interpret, is that we should all just give up.
Seems to be a long-running theme with you, Evan. I'm gonna say no. I would say negative to that one.
Okay.
I think we all need to buy an emerald mine. I think that's the lesson here.
Takes
You do
money
need to
to
get
make
into
money.
mining.
Yeah. Yeah. What we need to do is a backyards program. Strap a bunch of bottle rockets to something. See if we can get
That one guy tried that. It didn't work out so well.
See if we can get some art.
It worked a couple times.
He went with the fucking steam.
He was
Get outta
trying
here,
to
Michael.
prove the
Use
Earth
steam.
was
You can use
flat.
steam engine if you want. Yeah, well, he proved that he was flat at the end.
Good old Mike Tomash. No, I don't know. I don't remember his fucking name at all.
It was Mad Mike something.
Don't worry, his name doesn't deserve to be remembered. Idiot. He died in the pursuit of fucking
Moronicy.
incompetence.
I like that.
Moronicism.
Yeah.
Moronicism, yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm really passionate. I've been passionate for a few years in the back of my head about this backyard space program situation. Like the astronaut farmer, except for instead of going hardcore and try to abide by any like NASA rules, you just like fucking figure out the best rocket you could build yourself, like a solid fuel rocket, and then you just get some fucking, you try to figure out the weight to mass ratio properly, and the goal should be get into a stable orbit and make it so that you can contact it when it passes over your within range or something. If you can do that, I think that's the first start. I think there's a lot of information up there if you're willing to do the research to do something cool, and not even to mention like if you can get a satellite phone on it. I mean, is that how satellites work? I don't know. If you can figure this whole shit out, I mean, I think there's something there. You know what I mean? There's definitely
James,
something
I think
there.
You need a lot of
like
thrust to
Elon
get
Musk is
up
can't
into the atmosphere or pass out of the atmosphere.
Michael.
And that's
Quite
why
a
these
bit.
rockets are so
Michael.
big. So I don't think you could build one in anyone
Michael.
we know's backyard.
Michael, you can. It can be happen. It can happen. Here's what I'm thinking. Follow me here. Okay? You take a model airplane, a big
How
boy,
big?
a thick boy, a big one, like almost a
Like
drone
several
size.
feet across.
Gas powered.
Okay. Yeah, like big.
Huge.
the biggest scale model airplane you can possibly, a huge fucking guy. You get the biggest scale model airplane you could possibly make, like one of those crazy ones you see on YouTube. You build that, you hollow out the guts. Okay, so you have this big, let's say it's like 2 engines on the side, and then 1 big wing, and maybe 1 big wing in the back. Wheels on each corner, so it's 4 wheels. The inside's hollow, and in that hollow part, build a rotating stage like this. So it sits, your rocket sits inside this into a hollow tube that can rotate up like this, and then you take off with that thing, and you can just, your goal is to get that powerful enough and strong enough to get into the air, and you rotate, you circle it up as high as you can, and then once you get as high as you can, you drop your thing down and you launch your rocket. It's gonna fork and of course like destroy that plane, but hopefully you can get high enough to beat some of that pressure. You know, or you build a big ass rail gun. You know, that's a thing people can do. You big ass rail gun, and you shoot it into space with a rail gun. You know, you get as high as you can, and then at the top of its arc, you fire your engines.
I'd be amazed if you could shoot a bullet from a rail gun into space, let alone a fucking 1,000-pound vessel.
I don't think you could. I don't think you could shoot a thing into space from like a bullet into space, but I think you can shoot something very high and then use that height to launch further from that position.
You know, I've thought about that before.
You know?
Like...
It's called a 2-stage rocket. NASA currently uses them.
Well, there you go. Asked and answered.
Well, yeah, but...
It's like they beat me to it. Damn it.
Well, no. They use... what I'm talking about is like a rail gun on a ramp that would shoot... It shoots at an angle.
Mm-hmm.
So it shoots it at an angle, at a 45-degree angle across like whatever distance. And then once it gets to... Before it starts to come down, it goes... and fire, and then the rocket goes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, same thing with the drone. You know, just, that's.
Yeah, so I always wondered, like, could you get like a one of those crazy planes that goes really high up, like an RR-71 or a, you know, whatever. Like it's already like almost up there, right? It's like just go a little further. You know?
Right.
But I mean, I know, that, and then
then you die.
You're there.
And then you
die.
die.
Can't come back down.
You can't come back down.
Because
yeah,
your engines don't work in
right
without atmosphere.
And you haven't calculated an appropriate re-entry angle, so you're just going to burn up.
Yeah. Well, not only that, you'd burn up anyway because.
Well, I'm saying you got to design a whole new shit. I'm just saying.
True.
You fly up there, you fly that high, and then you go to space. Not just like...
So we get an SR-71, you hollow it out, then you put this model airplane inside it.
Because it doesn't need...
The modeled out...
It doesn't need any of the guts.
Model airplane? The hollowed out model airplane. So
yes.
You hollow out the thing, hollow out the model airplane.
Uh-huh.
And then in that, you're going to have a hollowed out rocket to have your satellite or whatever.
Yes.
So it's like a...
Correct.
It's like one of those Russian... is it a Matryoshka doll or something? Whatever, yeah.
Russian dolls? Yeah.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
You guys say it can't be done. I think it can be done. I think even if I just built a plain old 2-stage rocket, like out of the massive bottle rocket engines, I could do it. Because I think the thrust to weight ratio is way over balanced towards thrust over weight when you're dealing with something as light as a bottle rocket compared to like, you know, a 200-ton
I think
Starship.
There's a couple computer programs that can help you with this.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of them might be called the Kerbal Space Program. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Yes, you are
there's
correct.
a shuttle simulator or something like that. Although that might be more for re-entry. I'm not sure.
Yeah. It's from re-entry, yeah. But there's a lot of programs. There's a lot of ways to do that, to figure that out. I mean, but I think it could be done. I think there's a reason. I think the problem with this is the reason people aren't sending bottle rockets into space constantly is because once it gets into space, then what? There's all this advanced technological shit that you need. Like when you're in space, you're like, okay, how do I talk to this again? And how do I get it? You know, we build retro rockets. We have to carry that up, and how do we fuel that? And how do we ignite that? And how do we keep it in orbit, and how do we make sure it doesn't come down
James,
on a
what
fucking
is the
on a
purpose of
school? You know, like
what's the end result? Like, what's the,
I don't know. My own
We're
space
going
program.
to space, yay!
Yeah, I'm going to space, baby. I'm gonna tie a string and I'm going.
Why don't you be the first person to build that
The
tether?
first person to die.
That would be useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Climbing the tether, yes.
Die going in that.
He's like one of those guys that, you know, they're in a lawn chair tied to a bunch of balloons or whatever. It's like, wow, I'm a mile and a half up. This is a bad idea.
It's foolproof.
Yeah.
Can you imagine you're just sitting there in the
Big
chair,
mistake
like
for
you're not
me.
like
This
strapped
is
in or anything. It's like, or maybe they are. Maybe they were like, I gotta need to tie myself down.
Start to list to one side.
Didn't that guy recently like do that in
think
the
so.
last 5 or 6 years? A guy tried that.
I think so.
Probably.
I don't think I'm making that up. I think that's a real thing.
Jesus. No, I don't think you are. I think it's
Did
a
they?
real
No,
thing.
and they definitely died. Yeah. Do you either of you know how far off the surface of the Earth it takes to technically get to space?
100 miles?
It's like 10 or 11 miles, isn't it?
60 miles.
60 miles. It's 10 or 11. Jesus.
Do you know of a bottle rocket or series of bottle rockets that will go 60 miles against
Evan.
gravity?
Okay, look, Evan.
What did James
Maybe you
say?
need a
10 or 11
multi-stage
miles?
rocket, or you need to I thought it was 10 or 11 miles. That was way off, Michael. Fuck off, all right? This guy's going to have his own space program?
Might have to invite James a slide rule and stick it up his ass.
It's about a slide roll big as watch his head explode. Yeah, yeah, okay, maybe I'm way
No,
off.
he'll put the slide rule inside the hollowed out airplane body.
There you go.
Then send that to space.
Yeah. Let it all go and land in a creek
Yeah.
a few miles away. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot of things that need to be thought about how to do this. I have no idea. I think it could be done though. If you used maybe used a big ass like a drone, like a helicopter drone, but instead of helicopter blades, you put long ass pylons out where the blades would go, and you put weather balloons on each corner, and then that center part is where your rocket motor and shit is.
Yeah, you could do
You
that.
know? So you float it up, and then when it gets to about as high as it could possibly go, then you launch.
How high
Weather
can
balloons
you
go
weather-
way up there.
They do.
I mean, they go way up. You can see space with weather balloons.
Yeah. I think they're quite expensive. But of course,
mean-
we haven't even begun to discuss budget.
We're talking about a space program here.
I mean,
It's got to have a budget
several
of
$100s, like
several tens of
bottle,
dollars.
bottle rockets and lawn chairs. So, you know. Remember the boy who was in the balloon and he wasn't? Is that
Jake
that who it was?
Gyllenhaal? I'm glad you bring up Jake Gyllenhaal, actually, Mike, because I think James might learn a lot from watching a very good documentary called October Sky.
That sounds familiar, but I don't think I've seen it.
Familiar.
October Sky.
It's pretty good.
All right, I'll add it. Add it to the fictional list that doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm. I never watch it.
I actually
Although
do,
you do have a list, we know that.
I'm actually going to boot up my VM right now and get it downloading. So there.
Perhaps that could wait. Perhaps that
doesn't
could wait an hour or so.
We're
Okay.
running Xeons over here, Evan. We're fine. Xeons, bandwidth, everything.
Dude, National Geographic has an article. National Geographic has an article called "Design Your Own Space Probe." It has
boy.
directions. Look at this. Step 1: introduce the mission. Step 2: review instruments that measure weather. Oh, they want to make a weather satellite. Step 3: have students create design. Oh boy, I guess I need students. Step 4: conduct peer evaluation. Yeah, I need peers.
It's like this will never get approved.
Yeah. Michael and Evan, you're the peers here. Have students finalize their drawings, build models at home. Oh boy. Have students publish and present their probes. Oh, this isn't a real thing. Fuck off.
It's like it links to theonion.com.
Oh, jeez.
60 miles, huh, Evan?
I believe so, yep. I learned that from a British television show. And they're never wrong.
Oh my god. NASA has a build-your-own space probe, but the thing they have it built out of is juice boxes and applesauce containers.
Well, that sounds like
NASA,
about
get
like
it
what you're
together.
talking about. Yeah.
That matches up with the budget.
It says it's like non-edible satellite 1. That's what they called it. NES-1.
That'd be great if James modeled his space program after a kindergarten teaching tool.
Jesus Christ.
James, you'll have to send up a what's that thing? What's that computer, Evan? A Pi? A Raspberry Pi.
Raspberry Pi?
That's what do. Send up one of those, attach a little something to it, so it can send stuff.
Wait, here we go. Instructables has one. Perfect. Yep. Involves a weather balloon.
He's like a condom and some fairy dust. He's like, wait a second.
What is this? Oh no, this is a real thing they've made here. They got some kind of probes in a foam case tied to a parachute. So this is suborbital.
If you send something into orbit, you might have some unexpected visitors, James.
Like
In
alien.
perhaps like unmarked vehicles.
Yeah, I know.
It will get you some attention.
How about the hiring committee's here? I'll be right
yeah,
back.
yeah.
They've come to take me to their boss to offer me a job.
It's like, so when do we meet the president?
Yeah. Oh boy.
Sir, you've done it. Yeah.
It's like, what? That's, I know. You've done it. You've ruined the rest of your life. Yes. Okay. Congratulations, Elon Musk, on your successful
Yep,
takeoff and landing.
Condolences on your horrible SNL. Okay.
Yeah. Space is a safe and perfect place. Everyone who goes there will be successful. There shouldn't be any problems or tragedies to come.
All right. I don't know what just happened here on the thing, but
I clicked on one link and it copied that link and pasted it, so I got rid of it.
okay. So, next up we have Doing Great. So, this is the article I caught in the Washington Post. It's like, Trump allies want you to know his mood is just fine. Great, in fact. It's like this whole thing where everyone that goes down to meet, like, with Donald Trump and like, oh, I had dinner with him tonight. He's great. He's in great spirits. He's doing great. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, he's doing great. Everything's great. He's awesome. Everything's great. It's like, what the fuck?
Totally. He's going to turn this country around in 2024. Just listen.
Here's another one.
to
Here's
him.
a tweet from a reporter. A Trump advisor says the former president is in a very good mood following his first speech since leaving office and feels like he hasn't missed a beat. Okay. Mar-a-Lago guests frequently comment about how good he's looking over these last couple months, and he feels great as well. It's like the idea that Trump is suddenly looking more spry has also been a theme, along with assurances about the quality of his mood. Some right-wing British guy reported this past weekend that Trump looked fit and well.
I don't believe that at all.
No,
Of course,
maybe.
that, you know what, James?
It's like, what are these people talking about?
Yes.
Like, why is it all like, oh, he's looking great, he's looking, it's like, what the fuck? He's doing good, feeling good. Like, right here is another one that is, he's in pretty good spirits trying to get adjusted to his new life. Lindsey Graham said that. It's like, what the fuck?
Readjusted to his old life?
I didn't realize he's actually down at Mar-a-Lago.
Man, is
I
this
thought
like
they
a-
stopped him from doing that, but I guess not.
No, he's a Florida boy now. Is this like a Kim Jong-un situation? It's like Trump is now like Olympic, 100-meter champion. He beat Usain Bolt. God Emperor,
right. I was gonna
Immortal.
say he's like that Turkmenistan guy or whatever.
Oh, it's like rides a horse
No, that's
with no shirt on and shit
I
like
was gonna
that.
say Putin.
He did that. He did that
Right.
too while he was bear hunting.
The other guy. I mean, maybe the other guy did that too, but no, it's like he rode a bicycle and shot 3 targets and all this bullshit. Like it's like, what are you talking about?
Oh yeah. God, I love
so
Eastern
crazy.
Europe.
I like the other guy too, who's like a younger guy. No, you show him like working out and stuff without a shirt on. Like, and he's also like the leader of a country or something. Like, it's so weird.
It's like, what's his name? It's True Justin
not that guy.
True something.
James, you know I'm talking
like,
about the guy they were talking about with his cat or something. I don't remember the guy's name, obviously, because it's something crazy. But
oh, that's familiar.
I vaguely know what you're talking about.
yeah, it was another one like that Turkmenistan guy, but it's another one. It's one of those other countries.
We can just look up crazy Eastern European leaders sometime.
The Turkmenistan guy's the horse guy, right?
Well, yeah,
He's the
yeah,
one with all the
that's-
horses.
Yeah, Evan, yeah, that's it. He's got a bunch of horses. That's what it is.
John Oliver made fun of him one time. It was great.
Yeah.
So, just so everyone knows, Trump is doing great. He's feeling great. Yep, he's doing great.
He's never looked better.
Okay.
His mood. Some people are saying it's
Yeah.
good.
So, whatever. Fucking weird. All right. I'll just go to the last one here that I have. China. So, I'm sure you guys heard about this. More space news. There was a rocket that China launched on April 29th that was carrying a section of their new space station into orbit. But there was some issue with the rockets, and there was some debris that came back down to Earth that wasn't supposed to. And so it landed in the Indian Ocean, apparently, as of, I think, last night. Yeah, it says west of the Maldives.
Good.
So there's a lot of questions about this because they launched it. It was supposed to separate. It didn't separate, and they had no way. And apparently, so a thing I saw last night. I don't know if this is still true or it was all the information is fully understood at that time. But what I saw was they were like, this should have been able to bring itself back down, but for whatever reason, it lacks the guidance system that everyone else who does this uses to keep this from happening. Like whatever thing it's supposed to have, it doesn't have. Like the China's like, we're not using that. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, obviously it splashed down. It probably got destroyed. It like all hosed in fucking re-entry and everything else. So they're not. Their things don't land themselves, correct? Theirs is like classic. Rocket goes up, comes down, lands somewhere, and they recover it, right?
I don't
China.
know what they do.
China.
It just plunges back into the ocean, and they hope for a successful recovery.
Yeah, and then they're supposed to
Do
recover it. I mean, that's what the U.S. doesn't just abandon rockets in the NASA doesn't just abandon its Atlas rockets in the fucking water and leave them there. So fuck it, they recover that shit and refurbish them.
That's the scam, refurbishing.
Yeah.
I didn't know they
recovery.
reused them because
The
I thought
recovery's a
that was
scam.
the whole thing that Elon Musk was doing. He's reusing things.
Well, he's reusing things. He's like just refueling them and doing the basic whatever. But NASA's going in. If they can get that stuff back, they try to get them back. Even if it means getting them back and just like putting it somewhere, they're not leaving it in the ocean.
Or they have to rebuild, half of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like when I
Whereas
say
the
refurbish,
SpaceX stuff is like nearly fully reusable.
Yeah.
All right. Apparently
Mike
not.
doesn't know anything about space programs. James, we can't have this guy on our staff.
No, I mean you're here knocking my space program. What's your space program? Go to Denny's and eat a fucking deluxe.
It's called
like,
Moon
get
Over
outta here,
Miami
making
for a
space in your
reason,
stomach.
all right?
Oh.
All right. Well, that's all. That's all I got it for China there.
All right. Thank you for the recap. Glad I did not strike any populated areas. There was some speculation that it might. Yeah. Is it a surprise to anyone that this happened to China? I don't think so. If they were like, no, we're not doing that. The People's Republic of Space Travel doesn't need this guidance system.
Right. Oh, well.
You know. But crisis averted this time. Nothing in stranger danger. Should we talk about the measure of a man?
It's not talking about your junk, all right? He's like, then skip.
Well, then.
No, this is about an episode of Star Trek, The Next Generation, entitled "The Measure of a Man." This is in season 2 of The Next Generation, and it's actually a pretty good episode. It's the one where Commander Maddox comes to the Enterprise and he says, "Hey, I'm here to work on your android." And everyone's like, what?
Yeah. He's with me now. I watched this very recently myself. Within the last, I'll say 3 weeks.
It's probably been a little while since I've seen it, but it's a good one. This particular article says the episode is demonstrates the many forms of love, and in particular the author of the article is particularly, I mean, the focus of the episode obviously is Data and all that, but they're talking about Will Riker and what he has to do. And he has like one of the toughest jobs.
I wouldn't say it has to do with love. I wouldn't say it has to do with anything to do with love, but I agree. When they drop the bombshell, it's like, and the prosecution will be the second most senior officer, a.k.a. Data's best friend.
Well, technically his best friend is, the guy who's hopeless with women.
Yeah.
But, think it has anything to do with the visor? Or maybe it's because he's...
who knows?
No. Yeah. Even in space, black people are maligned. No? Future. No, I think Geordi's just hopeless. Personally. Nothing to do with black or having the visor. I like the visor.
I think he has a tough time with reality. I've been victim to this myself. You build a relationship in your head, and that's not real. And then you get close to the person, you're like, oh, what the fuck? That's not how it works in my head.
You just build
it's
how
bullshit.
This person is, right? And
right.
And that's
which there was another episode about that, actually.
Yep. Very true.
Yep.
Very true.
Left out that minor detail. She was married,
Dr. Leah Brahms. Yeah.
Yep. Good stuff. Sorry to digest, Mike. Please get back to your episode.
No, I mean that's pretty much it. It's kind of an interesting article. Just talks about the episode and what the various characters go through. And like I said, the author is kind of specifically singling out Riker because, it'd be like, all right, Evan, you get to defend James, and I have to prosecute James, and if the judge thinks I'm, pulling my punches at all, then that's it. James is fucked, And of course, Riker makes a great argument at the beginning. That's like Picard even goes off to talk to Guinan, and he's like, even I was almost convinced, So, but of course, Picard comes back and after talking to Guinan and getting some sage advice, comes back and is able to win the case.
You know, the good thing about that episode, I think, from Riker's perspective, is Riker does what he's supposed to do because he's supposed to do it regardless of what he feels is right.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something you very rarely see. You know what I mean? Like, if someone sticks to their guns because it's the right thing to do, even if you dislike it, people look down on them like, you're trash, you're supposed to be doing whatever the populace,
Right.
whatever the whole wants you to do. Not because something is the law or correct, And he's like, of course he loves Data. Data's his boy, but he's like, I have to follow. I have to
Orders.
do what I do. I have to follow orders. Mean something that's important, And I love that episode. I love this episode because of that. Because Riker stands up as like a beacon of like rule following, even in a case where he doesn't want to, because he needs to do it, And I mean, it's of course like, being a stickler for the rules is like very frowned upon, right? Like, even saying that, I'm like, oh well, let me go back around and just tweak what I'm saying so people don't think I'm a stickler for the rules. But I mean, rules there for a reason, right? Like, they exist for a reason. So I appreciate this episode because of that. I mean, obviously Data's not going anywhere, but it actually feels like when you watch this episode, you feel like the risk. You know what I mean? It actually feels like, even though next episode everything's gonna be back to normal, but you're like, could it happen? Like, could this happen? Like, you feel on edge, like Data's really in threat.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually another related episode where Data gets he creates his daughter, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Lol.
That's another sad episode. You're like, oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Another guy from Starfleet shows up and he's like, yeah, I'm here to take her. And it's like, what? I mean, it ends up, she ends up dying before it ends up mattering. But, you're like, Picard's like, I'm not having this. Which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good old
Evan,
Star Trek.
when's the new season of whatever coming?
Picard is not going to be around for another year or so. Lower Decks, which of course we all love and care about, I think that's due in August. I was just reading an article about that, actually.
About that new wacky Nickelodeon show.
Yeah.
No, but when's Discovery coming back?
Soon-ish. Actually, I can check for you. Let's see. Discovery Season 4, October 21st to December 23rd. So, end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah. There's actually a Reddit post on the Star Trek subreddit talking about there's going to be like 2 years worth of, or the goal is to make 2 years worth of Star Trek content, basically, so it's always on the air. Whether it's Picard or Discovery or Lower Decks or Prodigy, is that Nickelodeon one, I believe, or the there's a Brave New World, Strange New Worlds, the Anson Mount Enterprise one. So Paramount,
they're going all in.
They're going for it. Well, not Paramount,
CBS,
but yeah,
Paramount,
you know what
whatever.
I mean.
Yeah. Well, it's so confusing now because they rebranded their CBS All Access to Paramount Plus, which is so weird because I consider Paramount at this point to be like a B-level fucking brand. I don't know why, but it's like Target or Kmart. It's like, not that either one is awesome, but I consider Kmart to be a lower end Target, let's say. And I feel the same way about Paramount. Speaking of Kmart, did you know that the last one that's open in either in Montgomery County or in Maryland, I forget now, closed? The one that was over, yeah,
Aspen Hill.
closed maybe a month or two ago.
A number of years ago when I was there, I had to grab. It might have been even before I came to Tennessee. I went there and it looked like they were having a clearance sale to empty the store. I assumed they closed shortly after that, but I guess they hung on.
I guess so.
It used to be a place, you know? People shop there. Of course, I'm sure they still have a web presence, like CompUSA.
Oh, and look at this. I just Googled it, and for some reason, I don't know why they're grouping them together, but the Sears in White Oak closed permanently as well.
I thought that happened at least a decade ago.
That's crazy.
I guess we'll go down to Yum Update.
Is the Sears Tire still there? Or are they completely gone? The tire place was, like, I'm sure doing a brisk business, as they say.
I would have think they're
Could
linked,
be.
but maybe not.
Or don't they have another fork of Sears that's like for appliance repair or something?
It says Auto Center is what it's called.
Probably.
Sears Auto Center. I don't know. Looks like it's open. Who knows? We'll have to call them. Hey, you guys open?
Go there for an oil change. Like, I like to support the company. Like, thanks. You're about a decade too late.
One of my cars worked on there at one point. But
Yep.
probably at least 20 years ago. I think longer.
I definitely got an oil change or a new tire put on there in my Oldsmobile.
Yeah, I think me it would have been
Must have been
me it was
2002.
like, late 90s. I think.
Yep.
Oh well.
How time flies. So, let's talk about food, Mike.
Yeah, it's funny you guys, we were talking about it before the show started. Those meals I've been ordering Factor. Not well.
How are those
I
going?
I can't.
Did you cancel your
canceled
auto
the next
subscription?
few weeks, but I need to go in and just cancel the whole thing. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. They're okay. They taste fine, but I don't know. They don't like excite me. I'm not like, oh, these are awesome. And I mean, it's probably. I'm sure they're a normal portion size, but for me, they're quite small. So,
Right.
Also, I mean, the meals are fine. I'm just not a cultured person, obviously. So, a lot of these things are like, pork poblano, whatever. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. Like.
It's like it's
Poblano's pepper.
yeah, but to Mike, it's like it's pork with some sauce on it. It's not like poblano. It's like the sauce is on my good list.
Yeah, I mean, it's all just
whatever.
things I'm like, I don't know what this is. So it's like, I mean, and it's fine, whatever. But it tastes okay.
Does it taste good?
It tastes
at least,
okay.
Or no?
I haven't tasted anything bad.
So what's the problem? Is that you just don't like the culture? It's too much. It's too much.
I mean, it's not all. I'll use the word Mexican, even though
I'm
it's
just
not
trying to
that.
figure out what the complaint is.
His palate is being overwhelmed.
I think it's more
Is that
just
what
the
it is?
portions. Yes.
Too small. So you just
Or
gotta
you're
use
too
the smaller
greedy.
Portions. You're probably too greedy. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, probably. Yeah.
I mean, I think we don't eat
I
normal
think you're
portions.
right.
That's a problem.
That's true. That could be the case.
Could be.
That could be a contributing factor.
It could be. Yes, absolutely. But yeah, no, I'm done with it for now. So
I have an idea. If it's affordable and convenient for you, would you consider continuing to get those meals or some prepared keto meal service, then supplementing every meal with a salad. You could go down to Giant, get like a 3-pack of romaine heads. I'm sure you've seen them. You get a decent sized bowl, and with every meal you make a salad. Cut up 1 head of romaine, throw in some cherry tomatoes if that's your thing, some freshly grated or slivered like Parmesan cheese, not the powder stuff, but like kind of actual Parmesan cheese, and then like an oil and vinegar dressing. They give you some more bulk, fill up your stomach. You get to eat more, but it's very it's not calorie dense.
Right.
It's a thought.
Right. Something to think about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna cancel it for now. And we'll.
Okay. Hope you find a solution that works for you.
Me too.
Now, on to something I presume is Apple related.
You're presuming correctly. I know we talked about this at one point, and maybe it was even the same fucking article. I don't even remember. But I know we were talking about this not that long ago, and I thought it was funny that I came across this article. It's actually from 2018, apparently. But it says here, good riddance to the red delicious, then apple that sucks. And both you guys, I know, are like, oh, they're terrible. I like them.
I mean, like 'em. Sometimes you get a good one, but as a whole, they're very unreliable and unremarkable now. Now that we have such better options.
Right. Apparently, there's there's an Apple fan website called
That's not surprising.
Orange Pippin. So I did not check that out yet.
What? Why is it called that?
Our website is named after
England's
England's most famous apple variety, Cox's Orange Pippin, widely regarded as the finest of all dessert apples.
Dessert. So that means it's sweet and hopefully crunchy, not made of sand.
It's probably soft as fuck. Yeah, it's British. You know it's gonna be soft and gross.
Maybe they bake it as a dessert apple, in which case they can keep it.
Yeah, pass.
I've never had this, but I'd be willing to try one.
Michael, have you gotten some seeds?
You know I'm not a seed guy, so. Oh.
He's not a seed guy, guys. Kevin, you're a seed guy. You're our seed guy for the show. Go ahead and
I got enough seeds to go around.
Oh, yeah.
I put a link in here to the Orange Pippin website if anyone wants to check it out.
Can we get these? Are they orderable or what?
For an exorbitant price, I'm sure we can.
The nice thing about this website is this is an Apple enthusiast website where people post reviews of apples. So, like, here's someone, Madge from Maryland, just wrote about a Cosmic Crisp apple.
Yeah, they're tied for the best
and
available.
Then here's one from Ontario, an apple called Burgundy. So, interesting to check out.
Look at the picture of the Cox Orange Pippin. It is a ugly apple.
It's not a looker.
It looks like a sand apple. I'm sorry. It looks like it's like a fucking crab apple.
It does look like a big crab apple.
Yeah. I don't know. That might not be good. It could be hit or miss. What's the ones? There's other apples that look like this, but they're a little more green.
Mm-hmm.
And they're good. They're sweet. The Honeycrisp. Honeycrisp could kind of look like this, and they're really good. But this, it really has a sand apple vibe. It's too round. The shape is weird. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Especially the pictures on Wikipedia. It could be risky.
I'm gonna look for them. Let me see if I can get where you can buy some.
Go down to your local greengrocer and request a carton.
So here you go. Cox
Yeah,
Orange and Pippin app for
looking
sale.
at that too. It's, nah.
$33
they don't
for the
have it.
roots. Out of stock. Oh, God.
Oh. It's like, so I ordered some roots. And, we don't have an orchard, James.
Michael, Evan, you have a backyard, though. And you have a pool with our source. You're good.
You want some chlorinated apples?
Yeah, that's good for the trees, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's fine.
It keeps the pests away.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know, man. Well, we'll have to see if we can find these apples anywhere. We'll have to get on an apple enthusiast forum. Maybe there's a subreddit on Reddit. Apple.
There probably
Apple
is.
lovers, and it's
Now-
not Mac related.
Can we? Yeah. Can we
they-
scam some people by operating a subscription box company for
Just send
apples?
people Red Delicious
That's
apples
already-
nonstop. And just say, yeah, it's
Yeah,
Cosmo
just take the
Fest.
labels
yeah, it's
off,
whatever. Yeah, it's
you know.
whatever. And just every month, Red Delicious,
Uh-huh.
Red Delicious,
Yep.
Red Delicious. People are like, what
Yes.
the fuck? And they're like, you know, they send an email, you're like, oh, I'm so sorry. The next one will be right. Don't worry. And it's Red Delicious every time, you know?
Yeah.
That's all you stock.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me that's not a scam you would co-sign for.
Dude,
Mike.
I'm all
I
in.
mean,
That's
it's kind of cool. I
great.
mean, you know,
Love it.
it's interesting. I guess if they keep paying for it at that point, it's their fault, right?
Does it? Yeah, then it's a business.
I like the other ones. I like the other ones because you're
James,
selling
were
something
you
that
saying
doesn't
something?
exist or can't exist, you know. But
Right. This requires too much effort because it's like
Right.
an actual product you have to send. Understandable.
but anyway, yeah. So there we go. Cox's Orange Pippin. Huh. Interesting. We'll have to see if we can ever come across that at some point.
Yep.
Maybe we have to fly to jolly old England to get one. I don't know. James, would you go?
Worth
Well,
it.
you've been.
Yeah, man. I'd go again. It was great. Good
Really?
food there.
That's funny. Everyone says British food sucks.
No,
I mean, I'm sure it's fine. I don't know that I've ever had British food, quote unquote, you know, so.
I mean, you had fucking shepherd's pie and shit. Your mom makes, pseudo British food all the time.
Is that British or is that Irish?
It's Scotch-Irish, actually.
Let's not start this, okay?
No, it's Welsh.
It's 1/18 Scotch-Irish.
What's Black Irish? Is that what James is?
That's-
Or-
Yeah. Yeah. Afro fucking Irish. Fuck out of here.
The definition of Black Irish is used to describe Irish people with dark hair and dark eyes, thought to be descendants of the Spanish Armada of the
What?
mid-1500s. What? It is.
I
a
didn't
term.
even know that was an actual term.
I was always confused by it.
But to clarify something about British food, it can be good, but if you just think of it as like fish and chips, that's like saying American food is just McDonald's and Popeyes and shit like that.
Right.
There's good
No, it
stuff.
makes sense. Yeah.
You would have a fine time.
Oh, I'm sure I would.
if you went there.
Dude, just point me at the nearest whatever, and I'm good to go, you know? Sure. Ye old
Pub.
pube.
Ye old
exactly.
pube.
Real pube.
Exactly.
Mike, they have a number of good ciders that I think you
Oh,
would
yeah.
like over there.
Well, we'll have to add that to our list. We'll all have to make a return trip to Europe at some point. I went there once a million billion years ago, and you guys went there like 10 years ago. So.
Yep. I'd like to do that.
Regarding
Cool.
travel, I saw an ad on Facebook for some, and I'm sure I've seen this before, maybe some vacay, like Next Vacay, something like that website. Like you sign up for it, and it's like they send you when all the deals are happening. Like, I mean,
Sounds like a
it's
scam.
probably like something you could do yourself for free. It's just like they like aggregate stuff and like here you go, and bring it to your attention.
What else do they sign you up for?
It's like, well, I mean, it costs money. It's like $40, I think, for like a year. So that's the scam.
Oh, okay.
No, no. I mean, they're
Right.
They're providing a service, whether it's worth whatever you're paying for it. I don't know, but the point is, of course, these phones. They know who you are. They know what you want. They've seen into your soul, and so this Next Vacay ad is like flights to Japan cheap, and I'm reading in the comments. It's one of those you can like look at comments and stuff, and people like, oh yeah, they're like, I went to wherever for 2 weeks. It was awesome. Blah blah blah. And like now, of course, I'm reading everything with a grain of sand, right? As I'm like, man, this is a fucking, this is a scam. They're trying to pump their own shit up. Like, yeah, I know.
Too
You
skeptical.
You don't know anymore. But my point is actually that after all that, someone commented that you can't even travel to Japan probably this whole year because it's still not open for tourism, and it probably won't be until sometime in 2022. So that is very interesting. Yeah.
Wait, what's happening with
I
their
believe they're
Olympics?
going forward this year.
Yeah, they're going ahead. So it's going to be just like Japanese people. I feel sorry for them. They invested so much money and
they're
built
going to be
so much stuff.
hosed. Yeah.
Jeez.
No tourism money.
Did you hear about their attire rules?
What?
Their rules for attire. They're like no Black Lives Matter clothing. I was like, well, the American team's out.
I heard that. That's weird.
I mean,
who's
I didn't know that
gave that rule?
I don't know if it's the host company or the International Olympic Committee.
I don't know. They would have been better off just not mentioning it, and then it probably wouldn't have been a problem because the Black Lives Matter movement is like so far, we're very many months removed from its immediate relevance, even though it's obviously still relevant right now. So they probably should have just not said anything. Now that they've said something, you're gonna have a bunch of guys willing to throw their gold away just to go up there with the Black Lives Matter thing, just like those guys in the 70s who wore one glove and lost their medals. So yeah, good
Should
job,
be interesting.
I guess.
It's a PR success.
Yeah, I guess if that's their move, if their goal was to push the movement forward, then yeah, thank you, I guess.
That's the double reverse sacrifice, James.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, that show ETC News, that's called Internet Today. I watch. They have this thing they always say: "Shut the fuck up." like when in doubt, if you're famous or a celebrity or a group or something like that, and you have this idea that you're going to make some kind of statement, just shut the fuck up. Just don't say anything. Just see how far silence can take you.
Is that what happened to Colin Kaepernick?
And
he was silent.
He didn't. He shut.
Or he wasn't silent. Oh,
he was silenced.
So he wasn't silent.
He was silenced,
and that's what happened.
No, he wasn't.
But do you agree with what he did?
But
okay. So
yeah, sure. We respect.
So what's the problem?
We respect people standing up for their ideals. Standing up for your ideals is one thing. Being a negative asshole and saying, "Don't wear this shirt because reasons," because we think it's a disruptive. Number one, you're gonna look like an asshole, and number two, you're gonna make people fight you. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying whether the cause is right or wrong. I'm just saying, why would you mention a thing? That's gonna pull the trolls out of the woodwork who are like, well, I'm gonna buy 17 Black Lives Matter shirts and bring them there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm saying. I'm not here to question whether you think Black Lives Matter is right or wrong, or Colin Kaepernick's right or wrong. Like, he's irrelevant to this. I'm just saying, Why would you even talk about it? It's stupid. You're the Olympic Committee. Like, is your place to make a judgment on cultural issues? No, it's not. You know, you are as relevant as Sean Penn telling me to go vote. Like, I agree. You have a platform. Please fuck right off. You know, you
Dang.
rich fuck. You know. I mean, you know what I mean, right? Like,
Eat the rich.
yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, it's yeah, exactly. Now you're talking.
There's a Twitch streamer that I watch play GTA 5 RP called Judd, and he's like super redneck, and he was talking about this, like specifically, football players or athletes giving their, political opinions and shit like that. He's like, shut the fuck up. I'm here to watch you get concussed and get paid millions of dollars to do it. Now, give me that.
I mean,
it's a very crude way of saying it, but
he ain't wrong. You know?
Mm-hmm. I think some of just in general, playing a little bit of devil's advocate, some of them might have good points, but they're not going to get it across on social media to a point that like demonstrates their knowledge or caring. It's going to be some tweet that comes off wrong, and just everyone's going to have a problem with it.
Exactly. It's, it's not a good way to illustrate value for your brand. Like, brands should not be making cultural stances, unless it's pro-brand, unless it's going to make your brand better. But otherwise, don't make a commentary about stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need Wendy's to tell me, like, we support Black Lives Matter. Just be Wendy's, bro.
Yeah.
Just make a good fucking burger, I don't need Chick-fil-A to say we're open, we're closed on Sundays, and we also hate gays. Like, why would you do that? Like, are you stupid? You are a corporation, not a fucking political entity. Like, why would you make a statement that's gonna just drive people away and piss people off? Keep your founders' fucking wacko views can just stay in the background. Make a good chicken sandwich and shut the fuck up. It's fucking weird.
They also have really good shakes.
They do great shakes, and waffle fries, not fucking half bad.
And their Chick-fil-A sauce is pretty good.
Yeah.
Just mayonnaise and sweet and sour sauce or something, but it's good.
Yeah.
Oh boy. I see our X's section is blank, other than the Orange Pippin website Mike put in there. Any final comments before we head out? Silence is deafening, as they say. So, I will officially declare our show concluded. Thank you all for listening and watching, if you've been here this long. Check out our website, iopanelpodcast.com. You'll find all of the ways to contact and view our content in our social life panel to the right side. If you would like to speak with us, or rather email us, you can send us your comments at feedback@iopanelpodcast.com. We will all see that email and hopefully reply to it promptly. We appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you next week.